Welcome, welcome, everybody. First things first, as always, if I could get a quick audio visual check, please let me know that you can see my charts clearly and make sure you can hear me all right. Don't sound like a robot, more than normal anyways, and you can see my charts and everything. And yeah, after we are confirmed good to go, I will hop right into it because, guys, Bitcoin has been on a wild ride, as most of you are all very well aware. But yeah, I hate to say it, things don't look great. You guys have known my stance. Those of you who have been joining these streams and been in my Telegram and et cetera, you guys know that I've been very vocally bearish about this trend, but also my invalidations. That's the thing. I am not just a perma bear. It's just that I've been bearish for all of 2025 because not one of my invalidations has happened yet. And until that happens, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to be one of these traders who tells you that, hey, we had a bounce for a couple hours. The bottom's in, guys. That was a great bear trap. That's not the kind of analysis we're doing here. So if you do appreciate my realistic view on the markets and you appreciate me showing my trading strategies and stuff like that, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. All good, right on. Thank you very much, legends. Good to see so many familiar faces here. And hopefully there's also some new faces here. Guys, I have been quite open about this, that basically it's actually quite funny is right when we got up to this level here, that is where I started to see a lot of large accounts on Twitter and social media in general saying that, haha, it was a bear trap kind of a thing. Guys, those of you who have been following me, those of you in the YouTube or in the Telegram channel, those of you guys who know that I played this long position here, understand that this was my target. Everybody started celebrating when we hit my target. At that point, the move was done. Everyone was celebrating like it's time to start longing at that point. We were at resistance. FOMO was kicking in at resistance. I could draw a fib like this, but realistically, that's not even a Stuber fib. Yes, it's a 786 retest there, but more so it's just that it's the 214 fib target. And yeah, since we hit that, I had no faith in this. I was warning in my Telegram earlier today, you guys, that I was expecting some sort of a bounce off this level, but I was expecting it to be significantly weaker than this bounce we got back here. Now, guys, full disclosure, nothing in the structure had changed. And that's exactly why I became more and more bearish at this level, because you guys know that typically speaking, when I like to trade these Stuber fib setups, I mostly like taking them the first chance that we test those levels, because so often you're going to get some sort of a reaction, a strong one off those levels, just as, you know, bigger players and just people in general, a lot of people testing that support level, you know, hoping that a higher low comes into play. And that's where you get that nice test of the 786, 886 fib pocket. However, guys, after hitting that target and not blasting through, we never did set a higher high here. I would have felt much different had this even gone up to here and then pulled back. I would have been swinging at another hedge long down here. Actually, I did take a hedge long this morning. I do want to talk about that as well soon. But that's one thing where I would have been actually somewhat bullish on a hedge long if we had that structure where we actually set a higher high. But since we never set a higher high, we never got a new fib pull. I've seen in several different groups that I'm a part of and that sort of thing, guys. I saw a lot of people pulling this and calling this, hey, we have this Stuber fib. We're going to find support here. This is not a Stuber fib. Yes, in a smaller range, I suppose you could say that. But since the structure never changed, after we set this, this range right here, the fact that we did not get above it, and we did not get below it. Therefore, this range was still very much in play, you guys. So I had no interest in pulling a new fib. So I wanted to correct a few people, because a lot of people do look, and guys, that's why I talk about my strategies. They're quite simple, but there is a lot of places where people make mistakes. And the fact that we never had new structure there means we never had a new bullish Stuber fib there. So basically, the more we test these levels, the more bearish I'm going to get, because I mean, just basically as you keep testing a level, it's more likely to break, right? I mean, you test it 2, 3, 4 times, it's more likely that it's going to eventually give. And that's why I only really like the very first play, which played out beautifully. That was a hedge long because I was short from up here. I ended up hedging along down here, ended up taking another short. Those of you in the Telegram were quite aware. Yes, guys, I did not have time to do a stream this weekend. I actually had a kiteboarding event that I've been at for the last few days. But all in all, you guys, I kept you guys up to date, mentioned my concerns with the market, and nothing has changed at this point. This 4 hour still looks the same. One thing that I would consider from a possible bullish scenario here is technically we did get this little fake out, this little liquidity grab below our double bottom here. It's possible now, especially at what our 4 hour candle closes in about 6 minutes here. The fact that we're actually holding above this yellow line here, which is my 1 fib, the full retracement, the fact that we're holding above that level, I'll give credit where credit is due. There's at least some sort of, I don't even want to call it strength, just a lack of pulling the trigger from the bears. But honestly, I just don't have a lot of faith. I'm tempted to swing at another hedge long here, but I really just don't think I'm going to take it because I've got nice shorts on the go here. And I could not be more open about how bearish I've been on this trend. You guys know I have been talking about this chart since we were right here, right around Christmas. I was talking about the fact that the way the RSI was forming, it really looked to me like we were going to get this double top overextended bearish divergence, which is a pattern that I'm very bearish on every time I see it. You guys know, a lot of you guys know that I point this out on the 1 minute. I pointed out on the 5 minute. I pointed out on the 4 hour, and on the weekly. I'm definitely not going to ignore it. I have such a good hit rate with those reversals. Even back here, even though it eventually broke, once it breaks that divergence line, then I'm open to the idea of more upside, but we have not done that yet. And I will not be bullish on this macro trend as far as the longer time frame goes until that is broken. That's all there is to it. That'll be the first warning sign to me that the trend is actually going to shift. Yes, it's very possible that we get bounces, guys. Very possible. The markets don't just go in one direction. It makes a lot of sense that we find support and get some sort of a relief bounce at some point. But again, guys, all of my bearish warnings are still there. We, in fact, dropped this support level. So now here's my concern, you guys, with Bitcoin. Even if we bounce right now, and trust me, there is going to be so much FOMO up at this level and so many people saying how this was a bear trap, etc. If we end up bouncing to those levels, understand that we have broke this structure. Okay, the fact that we dropped this range and actually getting candle bodies below it now, there's no doubt about it. This is not a personal bias. This is just a fact. We dropped that support level. So now what do we have? If we do end up bouncing, we have a Stuber fib setup. You guys know I point these out on the 5 minute and the 1 minute all the time. Same thing goes for that bearish signal on the RSI. Chart structure works the same, you guys. Whether it's the weekly chart, the daily, the 4 hour, the 5 minute, the 1 hour, the 1 minute, market structure works the same. The candles take longer to play out. But other than that, a weekly chart looks just like a 1 minute chart, you guys, and structure and the signals work the same way. So the fact that we had this signal, even if we bounce now, we just have so much resistance above us. I personally think this trend is absolutely, for lack of a better word, fucked. Like the structure was broken. There's this big nasty RSI divergence. I've been pointing out this wave master indicator lately. We had this big overextended bearish reversal warning on this indicator as well. If we zoom in, notice that the high frequency trading bots have been pushing the downside for about 6 weeks now. And this week is no different, you guys. This looks so bad to me. And you guys, again, I know I sound like a perma bear, and I know I have been a perma bear for 2025. Trust me, I would love to be a moon boy again. There was once upon a time before you guys were following me here. All of the last year or two, I was absolutely a moon boy, and I wasn't overly bearish until I get these big reversal warnings. I take them very serious. And you guys, I mean, at first I was kind of joking when I thought that, not so much joking. I just thought there was going to be a short-term pullback in the markets on January 20th. I made several posts about it that January 20th, Trump's inauguration was a perfect sell the news event. There was so much FOMO based around that. We had that perfect bearish divergence setting up. This had nothing. All of this, I mean, yeah, sure, we can blame tariffs, whatever. Sure, they help push the price there, but the charts already had it there. The charts had this signal there weeks before there was mention of any tariffs, weeks before he was even, in office. So the charts were already there, you guys. I will play the charts over news or fundamentals any day of the week. And I know people keep telling me I'm wrong because Trump is going to tweet something and we're going straight to the moon. You guys, for those of you who have, if this is your first market cycle, I will lend a sympathetic ear and understand that, yes, I can see how you feel like this cycle is different because of these crazy fundamentals happening. But understand that it always feels like this market cycle is going to be different. And for those of you who have been around for several market cycles now, you know that Bitcoin is capable of anything. The charts are capable of anything. And when you say that it can't drop 70%, for example, those of you who have been here for more than 5 years know 100% that Bitcoin does not give a shit what we think. The markets don't give a damn about our opinions, and it's going to do what it's going to do. Honestly, this doesn't change anything for me. Like, guys, I am not saying, I want to make this very clear. I am not saying panic sell out of everything. I'm not saying that we're not going to bounce or anything like that. Honestly, we could go absolutely parabolic. I could be very wrong about all of my bearish theories. But the thing is, even if they get invalidated at this point, it's been almost 3 months now. We have had this beautiful trend that has been laid out to us. And just because it's not to the upside does not mean that it's not profitable. I have been absolutely loving shorting this market the last couple of months. Bitcoin, Trump, Litecoin, Graphane. I have been shorting many different coins for over the last few months. And really, the way the market looks right now, I just don't really have any intentions of doing differently. I mean, look at the monthly chart, you guys. I mean, the weekly, I was very bearish, and I was open to the idea that, hey, maybe it's not a bear market, but there is bearish structure forming, and that's something I'm going to take serious. The monthly chart, you guys, honestly, I don't know how to put this. There's no nice way for me to put this. This looks like we've started a bear market. I'm happy to be wrong on that. Again, guys, if any of my weekly signals get invalidated, I will strap on that astronaut outfit just like everyone else. I will hop on that spaceship. I will be a moon boy. Unfortunately, right now, with all those weekly signals still happening, the fact that nothing has changed means my opinion doesn't change. And then you hop over to the monthly chart like this. And if we just look at some order blocks, you guys, the last 3 that we have broken have led to a full-on market reversal. Okay, this is more than a bearish move or a bullish move. These are full-on market reversals. When we ended up breaking this block down here, we flipped that resistance into support, and it was bull market on. Over here, we ended up dropping this resistance block here, flip that resistance in, or that support, rather, support into resistance, and it was bear market on. Yeah, a big part of the move already happened, but it was very much so a bear market at that point. The same on the other end, number 3 for 3 in a row. We end up breaking that block there, flip it perfectly, resistance into support, bull market on. What we have right now, we have this block that we have dropped. We have flipped that support into resistance. You guys, until about a month ago, I was seeing so many people on social media saying how incredibly bullish this monthly chart is, and nobody has mentioned it in the last month. I'm the only one still looking at it because I'm open to the idea as an actual trader. That's the difference between an influencer and a trader. I'm actually trading these markets rather than just looking for clickbait. You guys understand that this is a very serious sign to me. And the fact that we drop that support and are flipping it into resistance here, that looks bad. There's no other way for me to explain it, you guys. That monthly chart looks absolutely terrible. Bitcoin, okay, going to the 4-hour. Again, the fact that we're holding this level, I can totally understand the reasoning towards taking a long at this point. I'm not going to, for all the reasons that I've mentioned already, but I'm totally open to the idea of doing some sort of a bounce. But I just don't know if it's going to stick is all. You guys, I don't know what else to say, basically. This chart it doesn't look good to me. I can see some sort of a bounce here, but I just don't think it's going to stick. Even the fact that we got this wick below here, yeah, it's a little liquidity grab. Maybe we end up pumping to the upside, but I just can't help but feel that it's going to be short-lived if we get it, because again, we've tested this support level a few times already. Guys, I do just want to point this out. I know in the Telegram channel, just very recently, I think we were trading right about here. I had pointed out this potential scenario that actually it was on the 1 minute. So far, pretty good. If you did take this short, by the way, I would consider taking partial profits. But basically, I had this upward trend line going on the 1 minute. We got 3 exact touch points, which you guys know that's one of my criteria when trading actual trend lines. We got 3 exact touch points. Then we lost that support, and then we started struggling with it as resistance. And I was mentioning in the Telegram to watch for this line to flip from support into resistance, and watch for us to come back down towards our support levels of the bigger range. And it really looks like that's what we're kind of doing. This purple box here shouldn't come as a surprise. You guys probably know already what that resembles. That would be the 786, 886 fib pocket here on a micro time frame. I still think that we come down to these levels. But again, I'm happy to be wrong. Anytime I enter a scalp, I do take profits relatively quickly, actually very quickly on the first quarter and even the first half of my positions. And then I hope the second half runs. So yeah, I mean, if you took this retest here, took that as a short on the 1 minute, I mean, we've had what, damn near an hour playing out or something like that. What time? 23. And we are, yeah. So just over an hour ago, where we would have had our entry. And it just makes sense, you guys. If you're playing the 1 minute, you should definitely be downsizing your position quickly. An hour is getting to be a little bit long. Yeah, if you have a running position, fantastic. But don't forget to pay yourselves on the way. And you guys, these are all things that I talk about in my Telegram channel, you guys. I was actually talking about how this weekend I was warning, even though I wasn't able to stream at the time, I was warning that we did have resistance for Bitcoin. And basically from there, we absolutely dumped off a cliff. So ended up getting a beautiful entry there on a short. Same thing with Trump. I had mentioned that we were trading right at resistance. If the bulls wanted any hope, they needed to break that level there. Took the short, and yeah, just played out absolutely beautifully there too. Guys, this is what I was talking about. Like I said, people were confirming that the bear trap had happened, but the people who were saying that the bear trap was confirmed down here were literally getting blindsided by a bull trap while they typed that message. Absolutely incredible. And that's why I love the Stuber fibs, and they're so great at pointing out those levels. And guys, this is all stuff that I talk about in my Telegram channel. Those of you guys who are in my Telegram group, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already. And yeah, we have some Stuber fib educational videos, all sorts of stuff there. So absolutely been crushing it in there recently. Anybody who's in my Telegram group should not be all too surprised by this price action. And if that does interest you, and you want to, rather than trying to wrap your head around fundamentals that you might be misunderstanding and that sort of thing, if you just want to look at technical analysis, you just want to be reading charts and playing the charts, then this is the place you want to be. So do yourselves a favor, scan that QR code or click the link and follow the steps in the description down below, you guys. And on top of that, my partners at BloFin are currently giving me this pretty sweet trading bonuses for my new and existing followers. So you guys, to get into my Telegram, you need to sign up with my BloFin links. So you would actually get access to this sweet trading campaign running until April 6th, as well as access to my Telegram group as well, obviously. So do yourselves a favor, like I said, get in there. But guys, like I said, yeah, we're getting a little bit of a bounce now. I don't necessarily think it's going to stick, even if we get some sort of a bounce here. I mean, new resistance to watch for, we could watch for something like this. Again, the fact that we've already tested these levels and we have been testing this resistance a little bit, I would have a little bit less faith in it, but resistance is resistance until it's broken. And yeah, basically so far that has played out great. So if we end up breaking this, we break back above 80.1. I'm actually going to lock in about half of the remainder of my running short. That one that I had, what was it, 86 or 83 rather. Yeah, basically, if we invalidate this Stuber fib, I want to make sure I pay myself some more. Because again, like I said, anytime you're in a nice running position, I mean, clicking that take profit button is one of the hardest things you can do in trading. And that's where I really love trading fibs and stuff like that, you guys, because there's such a structured, easy to have a systematic trade setup kind of a situation. And guys, without a systematic trade setup that you can't replicate and trade over and over, if you're just trying to trade on gut feelings, it's just not going to end up well in the long run. You need something that you can repeat over and over without getting emotional about it. And guys, this is exactly why I have no problem keeping a level head when, you know, everyone on social media is going absolutely nuts. People are in panic mode. And guys, also understand that now, you know, now that the move that I've been calling for, you know, we've already dumped 30% from where I was starting to get bearish, you guys. So understand, we've already had a 30% correction to the downside. And now is when people are starting to ask me and starting to say, oh, Stu, you were right. What should I do now? I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know, because the move has started already. I was positioned. I was ready for these moves. I've been trading bearishly ever since. At this point, yeah, eventually the downtrend is going to reverse. We're going to get a relief rally at some point. I don't know when that's going to happen. So that's why any new positions I'm taking recently, I am, again, very close to close half of my position and pay myself the fees, pay myself a little extra, remove my risk from the market completely, update my stop loss, and hope the rest of the position runs from there. And I've been getting some with very minimal risk involved because I'm looking at scalp entries. I have caught some very, very nice running positions, and those of you guys in the Telegram can vouch for that. That a lot of these positions have turned into great runners with very minimal risk on the side if I would have got stopped out, right? Because sometimes I do get stopped out as well. Like I was saying on the 4 hour here, I was actually playing, where was it? I can't remember exactly where it was. I think it was down at these levels. It was either over here or over here. Maybe someone in the Telegram can remind me, but either way, basically, yeah, I ended up taking a head short because we were at my 4 hour, basically my 4 hour Stuber fib pocket. Even though, yes, it had already played out, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to regret this if I don't take some sort of a long position and we totally reverse from here, because I could be wrong and we could do that. So I wanted a bit of a hedge. But as I said in my message, that I was actually hoping that hedge long got stopped out, because I am still very much so focused on the short side of this market. It's just that, you know, if I see a buy level like that, I am willing to set my bias aside and take a swing at a long like that. But obviously that one got stopped out. The shorts kept carrying on. Such is life. That's actually what I was hoping for, because my shorts are significantly heavier than my hedge long. So I am okay with that. But as it stands right now, just everything looks weak. Yes, you know, same thing on the downside here. I absolutely see reasons why someone would want to take a long from down here if we do push down a little bit lower, kind of towards that 78,000, down towards 77.7. And honestly, even all the way down to probably a little liquidity grab somewhere down towards 77.3. Absolutely see the possibility of us finding support at a place like that. But again, I'm just not overly interested at this point. The more I look at the weekly chart and the monthly chart, the more I just think to myself, why am I even swinging at hedge longs? Like, yeah, I do like having hedge positions open because it's a very stress-free position to be in. If you have let's say a short position that's running very nicely, then you get yourself into a long position and all of a sudden both positions are running very nicely and you have to decide eventually, just kind of taking profits on both as you go, decide which one to cut in the end. It's a great position to be in while the market is in full panic mode. But right now, honestly, I'm just favoring the short side so hard that I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on even those hedge longs right now. Because again, guys, I hate to say it because I understand it will trigger a lot of people. And honestly, even as I say it, I understand that it feels far-fetched right now, that this does look like a bear market to me. Again, it feels far-fetched to me, but the structure is showing it. And until something changes, like I said, high frequency trading bots start pushing the upside. The RSI breaks my divergence. You know, we break, set a new high and we start staircasing higher. These are all things that would totally invalidate my bearish theories. It's just that I've been waiting for all of 2025 so far. I've been wanting a parabolic run where my, some of my altcoins, my AI coins, my meme coins, all my trash. I would love a parabolic run where that kind of stuff starts to recover, but I just don't see it in the charts, you guys, and I'm not going to turn a blind eye to that. I do have to catch up on the chat a little bit, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this so far. Again, it will probably be a shorter stream. I will be leaving shortly, but I did really want to get some sort of a market update out there because you guys, like I said, I was gone for the last few days. I know the markets have been crazy volatile. I felt bad that I couldn't get here with you guys, but that's why I kept the Telegram up to date. So if you guys do want to see more of my analysis on the go and be kept up to date, even when I'm unable to stream, again, get in there, scan the QR code, click the link and follow the steps in the description down below. Absolutely crushing it in there and keeping everyone up to date with my general thoughts on the market, honestly. Some of my trade setups, some of my ideas, and just my opinion about the markets in general. But yeah, I know it's because, guys, I know, and I've been that guy before where I've surrounded myself in echo chambers and I've tried trading fundamentals that I thought I understood, but I never really put the shoe on the other foot to see how that could affect things on the other side. And that's a lot of what's going on right now. I don't want to get too political here, but just one straight fact is that a lot of people are assuming that since last time Trump was in office, the markets did very well. Understand that his party is doing literally the exact opposite of what they did when the market did well. So why would the market do well with doing the exact opposite behavior? Last time he was in power, they were giving out tons of handouts. That's when COVID was happening. There was tons of money printing. And like I said, handouts to everybody. This time, everything is being cut. It's all about saving and getting rid of that waste and that sort of thing. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I mean, there's pros and cons in every way, but just understand that you should not be married to a trade idea based on what you think in your gut should happen. If anything like that is going to make a difference, the chart structure will show it. And I'm sorry right now, if you're trying to trade the fundamentals because, hey, they're bullish, so let's keep longing the shit out of this. Eventually it's going to reverse. You are correct. Eventually it's going to reverse, but that could be a painful, honestly, if I'm right about this possibly starting a bear market, again, happy to be wrong on that. I have my invalidations in place. But if that happens, it's going to be a very painful ride. Trying to long every single bounce from now until then. It's not until, if the price drops 60%, that's when people will start getting bearish. That's when everybody is going to start shorting, and they're going to start shorting too late again. Guys, just something to back this up here is understand retail is so long. This has climbed. Last night, I thought it was a little ridiculous that it was at about 69%. We are at 73% retail long on Binance. So even though we have all this crazy, crazy bearish chart structure happening, crazy aggressive sell-offs happening, the market is still so desperate. Everyone has so much FOMO around what's going on, and they don't necessarily understand what's happening economically. And just people, everyone, I'm hearing more and more that, oh, everybody's so bearish. We're going to go, bull market can continue. Everybody is super bearish. Whether everyone's bearish or not, they're still scared to miss that pump. So they're still longing and they're still getting wrecked. And the fact that we have 73% retail long on Binance just makes me think, guys, that is fuel for the fire. That's all there is to it. So take with that information what you will. The fear and greed, it was down to like 10 or something like that. It's back up to 20, still pretty fearful. I'll give it that. But just understand that it can go lower. The market's still very long. Structure is still absolute trash on any time frame, 4 hour and higher. So yeah, I just can't really say anything good about this market. But guys, I am just going to play a nice gentle little tune for you guys here while I catch up on some chat. Hopefully you're all having a fantastic day. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the Stu Bear Fibs we trust. So I hope you're all doing fantastic. Sorry to be the guy who's bringing the bad news, but honestly, guys, I'm not one who likes to push the clickbait and go that way. I'm trader, not an influencer. I make my money from trading, not by clicks. So at this point, I would just rather give it to you how it is, because I would rather have you guys, honestly. And here's the thing, guys, understand that just because I'm bearish and trading the short side, there can be people still trading the long side, and they can be trading just as well as me. They could be outperforming me, right? At the end of the day, the analysis does not matter. All that matters is that you have a strategy in place that you are able to trade and replicate repeatedly. But other than that, like, the direction really doesn't matter, you guys. As traders, all that matters is that it's volatile. So understand, yeah, we can go to the upside at any point, but I don't know. I've just been loving shorting this market recently, and it's very obvious which side of things has been easier to catch a running position. All you have to do is zoom out a little bit. Yeah, still going down towards that fib pocket down there. I really think we will end up testing this, or very close to it. I actually want to make sure, you guys, sorry, I just want to make sure I have another partial take profit down at this level. When I talked about that diagonal SR flip and that retest that I talked about shorting earlier, straight up full disclosure, I did add to my short position at that level. And I did mess up, and I accidentally put in an order 10 times more than I planned to, because a decimal had moved on me or never got placed. So I definitely want to be taking some profits off this position here. I'm actually going to close 20% of the remainder of my position right here. And I am going to another 20 here, just above my 786, another one just above my 886. But yeah, I'm still planning on having a good chunk of my short running, guys. I just can't say enough bearish things about this chart, unfortunately. Yeah, just above 78, I'll set a TP. And just above my 886. Bunch of sevens sounds right. 77, 777. Actually, I'll go just over 77, 780. And then, yeah, the rest of my position can just carry on. But you see what I mean, guys? And you see how the price is just drawn towards these Stuber fib levels. And guys, again, if this is something that interests you guys, yeah, these are, oh, there's another take profit hit, working its way down towards my next one. Hasn't quite hit my next take profit, finding a little support there. But yeah, so guys, understand that. So even though I'm very bearish, I'm still looking at this as a buy level. So even though I'm not interested in taking a long at this level, I am very interested in taking some profits off of my short, right? A buy level is a buy level, whether that means that I'm going to enter a new position or just reduce risk on a position if it's going the opposite way. It is what it is. That's why I'm taking profits at this level and about to take more. If it goes down very slightly more, come on, breaks. Yeah, we'll see. But this is exactly why I've been drawn towards some of my macro targets. And I know a lot of people keep telling me, oh, we're not going to see those levels. You know, like I said earlier, I treat the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the weekly, I treat everything the same. Structure is structure. So the fact that, you know, I don't care if this is a 1 minute, it's still respected technical analysis so beautifully, right? And this is exactly why I trade this all the time. But absolutely beautiful there. Guys, you'll notice in the title of my video, I was talking about 62,000 US dollars. This will again bring me to my Stuber fib setups. My reasoning for that target, you guys, it's not magic or anything. It's just, and honestly, I don't even think it's necessarily where we are going to bottom. It's more so where I think that we would just find an obvious bounce because it's an obvious support level. But basically, since we're dropping out of this range, I feel like it makes sense that we test into, somewhere in this range that we formed back here in summer. So I'm going to pull a fib from our lows there, from our previous 30% correction, and notice where these fibs line up at this point. So our fibs there would line up from, call it 63,000 down towards 57,000 US dollars. I know that feels ridiculous. I know it sounds like we should. Oh, nice. I see did another take profit hit? Yes. Excellent. I hit another take profit. But yeah, just understand, guys, that this is just the only reason I'm saying that is basically that we have this potential Stuber fib here. We do not have to hit that level. Make that very clear. We could absolutely just end up finding support up here, kind of closer to 70K down towards 70 or 70 down towards 65 because we have this order block here. But just, you guys know my favorite strategy is I love getting those 786 retraces. So yeah, if we end up breaking structure before that, where let's say we end up setting a low, lower low, and then we break our lower low, something like that. Let's say we don't even quite make it down that far. We do more something like that. Just understand that at that point, at least I understand that we might be reversing early because there is at least some sort of a structure break, right? At that point, I would be looking to long the retest, but I have no interest in taking blind longs off these levels or anything. I use too high of leverage to try and guess at a weekly level like that. But as we approach these levels, I will absolutely be zooming into shorter time frames and trying to find, let's say, 1 minute and 5 minute Stuber fib setups for the long side, for example. And at that point, again, it's not even necessarily that I'd be bullish at that point, but I would be open to the idea that it's an obvious support level. It's an obvious Stuber fib play on a weekly time frame. It just makes sense that even if we are in a bear market, it makes sense we would get some sort of a bounce off that level and, start suckering people in again and setting a bull trap. Once everyone starts saying that that was a bear trap, then we'll know that it's a bull trap. We'll probably be at a Stuber fib, for example. Like, let's say we do one of these, dump down to there. At that point, I would be looking for crazy amounts of FOMO kicking into the markets and kicking into social media as we got near all-time highs again. And since we have that bearish structure break, I would be looking at it as more of a retest than anything, honestly. So yeah, unfortunately it is what it is, but that's why I'm targeting that level down there anyways. Yeah, we did drop the 886, still holding it technically with the candle bodies. So yeah, you know what? Maybe we find support here. Again, I am tempted to take a bit of a hedge long here, but I can't do it. Instead, I'm just going to take, well, I just did take some more profits off my short. But other than that, I'm just letting the shorts run because I just don't have a lot of faith in the bulls right now. I'm sorry, guys. All right. I've said it about 5 times now. I'm actually going to check on the chat. How are you guys all doing today? Unfortunately, I don't have time to jump into a bunch of altcoins or anything like that. Oh, Symbol, good to see you in here. Learning this method the past couple days. Love to hear it, bro. Bears short covering. Yeah, exactly. Any kind of bounce. I think it's just going to be the Bears taking profits at this point because, again, obvious support levels. Where is Tony Vase? He does the morning shows. I typically do the evening shows. Oh, nice. Someone super glad they sold all back in December of last year. See, and I'm not even on that side of things, right? Like I said, I only sold, I think it was 10%, maybe 15% of my portfolio near the highs. Other than that, I have been basically mostly just shorting. It's not like I'm not in panic mode, you guys. I'm excited to trade the downside, but I'm not in panic over what's happening in the markets because, again, as a trader, I love what's happening. I don't care if it's up or down. Honestly, shorting's fun. There's a very There's a very special feeling towards making money on the downside when the rest of the market's in full panic mode. And also, shorts typically play out very fast, right? I mean, just look at this. Even since I've been streaming, look how fast we dumped to the downside there. This is a 1 minute chart, and just look at it go here, you guys. I love trading the short side. I don't know for sure if we're in a bear market or not. Obviously, yes, I have my gut feelings and that sort of thing, but that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. All that matters is how the execution of the trades plays out. But yeah, it's I think the bear market is going to be far more profitable than the bull market, because this bull market, you guys, was trash. With everything that happened with meme coins and Solana and pump fund and everything, I mean, the market got so diluted. There's so many different coins out there. There's so many things that happened this cycle that, yeah, everyone wanted this cycle to be different, but they never realized what they were wishing for. They thought it was going to be a straight up BlackRock's going to carry us to $1 million any day kind of a thing. And it's just empty promise after empty promise after empty promise, you guys. That goes from the government, that goes from your favorite hedge funds, that goes from your favorite influencers. There has been so many empty promises about this trend. And honestly, you guys, again, it's very possible we end up, invalidating any one of my bearish signs basically on the weekly chart. We invalidate anything, I am a moon boy again. I promise you that. It's just that nothing's changing, you guys. And to sit here and say that, we're going parabolic any day because of a tweet and just ignoring all the red flags, that's where it's just straight up careless. It's reckless. Even if you're bullish, and even me, right? Like, even though I'm bearish, it's totally fine to be wrong as long as you have a plan B. If the price does this, I'm going to react such a way. If the price does that, I'm going to react in such a way. I would always rather listen to an actual trader who talks about the pros and cons, talks about, if this happens, I'm doing this. If that happens, I'm doing that. I would way rather take advice from someone who's saying that, a lot of people give me shit about this, saying that, oh, so you're saying it could go up or down. That's don't say that like it's an insulting thing. That's exactly what I'm saying. The market doesn't give a shit what I think. It can go up, it can go down. But for people who have no backup plan and it's just, we have to go straight up for the next year, those are the people that are going to get you wrecked. So just, be careful out there, have invalidations. Even, there's lots of traders that I still listen to and talk to and etc. that I think are far better traders than myself. But I will still never blindly follow what they say just because they have more followers or more money or whatever. I will still, at the end of the day, I will only pull the trigger on a trade setup if I personally agree with it. That's all there is to it. And, just to blindly listen to people, that's not the way to trade these markets, unfortunately, because the thing is, even if they're correct, here's the thing, guys. Somebody could be saying one thing about the market, myself included. I could be saying, this market's bearish. It's been obviously bearish for 2 months, but understand that people could be trying to trade the short side because I've said that, and they could still be getting wrecked, even though I was correct about the analysis. And that's what goes back to the whole, you need some sort of a repeatable strategy that you can trade over and over. Otherwise, it's just not going to end well, right? Because I guarantee you, we could have the same trend lines, the same Fibonacci's, the same indicators, all the same settings, absolutely everything the same, you guys. And I promise you, we would trade this market completely different, except for a handful of you guys I can see in the chat who I assume would trade very similar to me for obvious reasons. But other than that, everyone trades differently. So you just have to understand that and use this replay feature on TradingView. That can go a long ways with backtesting. That's exactly why I got very bearish around Christmas, thinking that we'd get this double top bearish divergence, is all because this is a very specific backtested pattern that I backtested several years of data with. I had a very high success rate with that reversal pattern. So I had no issues putting that into practice on the weekly chart and getting bearish at that level. Everyone thought I was crazy. All that matters is I just had a backtested strategy and I just looked to play it. That's all that happened. It is what it is. Shorting now is too late. I mean, maybe. It's tough to say, right? It really depends again on that execution strategy, because I'm still taking shorts, but I am totally okay trading the 1 minute and updating my position 5 or 10 minutes later. So that's different. If you're looking at just taking a YOLO short and just holding on to it for the next week or two, yeah, it very well is could be too late. But it totally depends on your execution on a setup. Shorting the hell out of alts, nice. See, yeah, I can't wait. When I'm more confident that it's a bear market, I'm already fairly confident. But honestly, shorting memes. I was talking about how diluted the altcoin market is earlier. How trash the altcoin season has been this time so far. Obviously, anything can change. But just understand that this bull market, it very much felt like you had to win the lottery to pick the right altcoin to do well for the whole cycle. Whereas come the bear market, we know damn well every meme coin is getting hammered over and over and over. There will be no survivors. Well, that's not true. They'll survive, but they're going to get hammered on. That's all there is to it. It's very easy to know that that is what's going to happen, because that's what bear markets do. Can't handle the 1 minute, the 5 minute suits you perfectly. And that's totally fair. I totally get that. You know what? Straight up, I have traded the 15 second. I have tried trading the 5 second. Turns out the 1 minute is where my brain tops out at the 1 minute. I can't keep up anymore after that. The 5 minute, yeah, the 5 minute I think is even better. Honestly, everyone trades different things. I personally, I swing trade worse than I scalp, right? I trade better on the 1 minute or the 5 minute than I do with the 1 hour, the 4 hour. But honestly, I would say that's rare. I would say most people should take their time and trade longer time frames, that you actually have time to, set yourself up and plan ahead and stuff. Yeah, when you have a strategy like myself and you're very used to trading the same thing over and over, I can open up a chart on my phone and I know within 3 seconds whether I'm taking a trade or not. And then I just have to dial it in from there, basically. But I can do it very quickly, and setting those orders, setting my stop loss, setting my take profits, I can do all that very quickly. Whereas if you can't execute trades and set orders very quickly, maybe you shouldn't trade that time frame, because if you even take 20 seconds, 30 seconds longer, you may totally miss your setup and think, well, that never worked out. Well, your entry could be significantly different than whether you were planning on getting in at that point, right? Still dropping. Love to see it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys. Love it. I am so happy I accidentally put in way too big of an order there. Well, that played out good. Trump coin was top. Trump coin inauguration was actually the top. And the Trump coin was very much so around that time. But yeah, the 20th of January, perfect top. I had actually warned about that late December, that I thought we would see a short-term correction there, but it's starting to look more and more like the macro is actually rolling over. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I am going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for everyone who joined me. Again, if you just want my take on the markets, you want more access to, just kind of following along with my trading strategies, how I'm looking at the markets in general, no fundamental FOMO, no, trying to understand the economy, anything like that, that's going to affect our trades. I just straight up, I look at the charts, I trade them. I know a lot of people say to trade the charts, ignore the noise. But lately with Trump in office, yeah, unfortunately, that seems to have gone straight out the window and everyone forgot that technical analysis exists. So if you do just want to be trading charts and getting my overall thoughts on the market moving forwards, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link and follow the steps in the description below to gain access to BloFin, no KYC exchange. You need to sign up using my link, and that will get you access to my Telegram channel where I share my thoughts on the market, you guys. And for those of you in there, none of this came as a surprise. I've been very openly bearish right from before the Bybit hack, just calling it for what it is here. And also, like I said, a couple of Stuberfib videos there. This first one is actually pinned to my Twitter. It's also on the Financial Summit's YouTube channel. It is a public video. This guy here, this one's much more in depth. It goes into the structure. It goes into recognizing the ranges, where I pull my fibs and all that sort of stuff. That one is private for Telegram members only. So if that interests you, again, scan the QR code, get in there. And again, guys, also to go with that partnership, BloFin is currently giving me a pretty sweet trading promotion for my new and existing followers. So that gets you access. Like I said, you sign up using my link with the QR code, etc. You get access to my Telegram channel as well as this sweet trading bonus here. For those of you who have been following me for since before I've been here, if you have signed up to BloFin using my old link, this is a new partner link, so let me know and we can get that switched over. But other than that, you guys, you know my thoughts on the market. Let's just take a look at Trump. Oh boy, Trump absolutely jumping off a cliff. I love to see this, you guys. I know, like I said earlier, there's just a special feeling of making money on the downside when everybody is in panic mode. So understand that as traders, we can make money both directions, especially when it's as obvious as it has been to me, honestly. And even, like I said, guys, right before starting the stream in the Telegram, I had pointed out that if we lost this support line, to watch it flip into resistance, and boom, look at that. So hopefully some of you guys in there actually ended up catching that. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. If you appreciated this, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.